The adjustment we will make be for naught as soon as we move it an inch, which is why we need that balance together. That's what we got. I'm ready to go. Watch live.
Yata for the sound of the mind calm, body at ease, breathing quiet, sentiment benevolent. Dharma friends, sitting still in vital silence, wanting nothing, we practice eco-Buddhism together. The sound of the temple bell booms for all to cease from conflict. May the way of Buddha usher in the dawn of non-violent global village forever. Here is the after sound of the bell. Thunder of silence, light after Dharma rain. Amoga Varochana Mahamudra Mani Padme Jvala Pravartaya
Please stand. For those of you who are new, we are going to do the three refuges 3 times. First in Sino-Korean, which is in keeping with our tradition here. Our tradition comes from the mountain monasteries of South Korea. And then we'll do a kind of English translation of that. And then one of our members is going to sing a special version of it, which one of our teachers composed in the 1990s. So please throw your voice in as much as you can. And the English version, please repeat after me. Can you hear? If you can't, just put your hand up and we'll all do better. Okay. I go for refuge to the Buddha.
I go for refuge to the Buddha.
And resolve with all beings.
And resolve with all beings.
I will cultivate a heart of enlightenment.
I will cultivate a heart of enlightenment.
And realize the great way.
And realize the great way.
I go for refuge to the Dharma.
I go for refuge to the Dharma.
and resolve with all beings.
and resolve with all beings.
I will penetrate the teachings
I will penetrate the teachings
and uncover oceans of wisdom.
and uncover oceans of wisdom.
I go for refuge to the Sangha
I go for refuge to the Sangha
and resolve with all beings.
and resolve with all beings.
I will seek peace and happiness for the many
I will seek peace and happiness for the many
and transform this world into Buddha land unimpeded.
and transform this world into Buddha lands unimpeded.
So the translation, I think, gets easier to understand with each one of our chanting. So here comes Jagwa. This is Jagwa.
I put my trust in the Buddha, and I resolve that with all beings I will realize the great way, and I will cultivate a garden where the Buddha seed may forever thrive. And I will grow a heart of enlightenment. I put my trust in the Dharma, and I resolve that with all beings I will penetrate sutra treasures, and I will pass through Dharma gates beyond all measure, uncovering wisdom as vast as the ocean. I put my trust in the Sangha, my brothers and sisters in times of need, and I resolve that nothing will impede our gentle walk to a world that's free, liberated society. I put my trust in these jewels three, perfect and complete right now inside of me, each moment. And I resolve that with all beings I will dedicate each moment to their realization in this lifetime. Buddha, Dharma, Sangha in this lifetime.
Please be seated for another period of meditation, about 5 minutes. then we will have the Dharma talk.
Our reading from the Dhammakata this week comes from the very first chapter, Choices. We are what we think. All that we are arises with our thoughts. With our thoughts, we make the world. Speak or act with an impure mind, and trouble will follow you as the wheel follows the ox that draws the carts. We are what we think. All that we are arises with our thoughts. With our thoughts, we make the world. Speak or act with a pure mind, and happiness will follow you as your shadow, unshakable.
Cabbage butterflies flitting in the garden, chickens perched in the coop with the sun heating up the day. Welcome in from the 10 directions, those of you for the first time and those who've been coming and going for a long time. It's a wonderful day for the Dharma because our speaker is the Dharma master for our organization. Usually we get thinking just Ann Arbor, but the organization that we belong to has a temple in Mexico City, in New York City, a farm in New York State, a temple in Chicago, Toronto, and here. Okay, I'll speak up. Thanks for putting your hand up. So just like often we just start thinking we're just from Ann Arbor and we forget the rest of the world. It's just a big interconnection. And so it's wonderful to have a brother and a sister from our Mexico temple with us this weekend. We've had a retreat and now Doan Sunam is going to give a little talk. And then we'll have a chance to ask some questions and cookies. Doan Sunam and I are kind of Dharma brother and sister for a long time, since the 1980s. We're kind of the oldest ones in our organization. So here we are together after not being together because we're so far apart most of the time. And it's been such a pleasure to get back to a relationship that we started so many years ago and that has been a little distance until now. He's a very precious person in his simplicity and down-to-earthness. And also, in a very special way, he's kind of a famous artist in Mexico. So he has, through his art, really brought the Dharma in a kind of intimate and immediate way through drawing and painting. So I'd like to welcome Venerable Doan Sunam to Ann Arbor and to this reopening service this morning. Doan Sunam.
Morning, everybody. Actually, I should just clear that I am happily unknown in Mexico. Few years ago in Toronto, I was visiting the temple. I lived there for about 8 years and a half. And so after that, returned to Mexico. So anyway, I went to buy some paper at a art store, which I'm very fond of. This store is close to, actually, I would say it's in Parkdale, the area, gray area, as they call it, where it used to be our Queen Avenue temple. So I went, I was waiting for the streetcar, which was taking long to pass in the street of Queen. And there was this man, he was all along, well, he was speaking aloud to himself, by himself. He was just speaking, talking. And we were waiting. And we was curious about this man, so kind of we got close to him. Tried to hear what was his monologue about. And well, partly the pronunciation or whatever, but was just chatter. Well, he looked at ease, light, was not a negative feeling that would come from him. And he seems to be very much entertained by his own talk. So the streetcar came and we got in. He went kind of towards the back of the train, so I followed him and sat one or two seats behind. So started our ride, and he kept talking all the time, talking. And there was a man aside from him, just one or two seats aside, which I could see that, I was looking to this guy on and on. And I could feel that he was getting annoyed. He would really look at him in a suspicious and, hard way. And so I kept watching both of them. And so it was not a long ride. And all of a sudden, in Parkdale, very close to where our temple was situated, is this mental hospital. And actually, for me, it was such a beautiful area, Parkdale. Of course, you get to see people who suffer a lot, people who with addiction, but otherwise, the houses were beautiful. The trees, it's a gray area, looks such a nice area. But anyway, so this mental hospital with very beautiful park in front. So when the stop came when we arrived at the place of the mental hospital, the guy who was very annoyed, he turned to the other guy, which was speaking and said, "Hey, here's your bus, here's your stop." And then the other guy just kindly turned to him, "No, it is your stop." So actually, none of them got from the streetcar. It was my stop. Well, not accurately. It was one more stop, but close enough. The art stories. Anyway, here my story ends. You try to make your own conclusions. here we are in a place dedicated to clear our minds, to keep precepts, to become selfless. We have to be careful not to take things for granted. Sometimes places where we can cultivate ourselves are not close, conditions are not proper, we don't have the conditions, we are far away. So it's precious to have a place like this. It comes to mind the one book that I read from Venerable Shen Yen many years ago, and particularly some aspects of his autobiography. When he was very young, he was very eager to practice meditation and know more about Buddhism. And there was not a temple. Actually, this is just from memories many years ago that I read this book, so forgive me for some inaccuracies. The book is called Getting in the Buddha Mind. So he made quite an effort to finally reach a place where he could have some learning. And at what point he arrived with this monk and he started speaking with him. He had many doubts in his mind, many doubts, many aspirations, confusion, as we all have in one way or another when we get to a place like this. So he had the chance to speak largely with this monk. Basically, the monk would just hear, and he went on and on and on and on for quite a while. The monk was very patient, very silent, just hearing. So after about close to half an hour, the monk just went, "Stop it! Put it down!" He was just speechless after that. Really startled by this unexpected reaction. I was expecting him to be very kind. So the monk gave him a treatment, so to speak. Later, he did some training with this monk. Actually, he was trying to memorize sutras, and it was very difficult for him. So he went to the teacher and said, "Well, just no matter how much I try, just cannot memorize." So the monk said, "Okay, you can do 500 prostrations daily. Do it until you feel you can do better with the memorization." So After about 3 months, 4 months or so of doing 500 prostrations daily, he said he was beginning to memorize, no problem. So after some time that being with this teacher, he found another teacher, which he lived in the countryside, kind of a hermit. And he was told that, well, he was quite a character and not an easy teacher, not an easy going. Well, no problem, I just want to learn, get to the marrow of this. So he went on. So to make the long story short, the teacher was indeed harsh with him. For example, sometimes he would say, work on this sutra for some time, make an essay. So he would very diligently do. Actually, Venerable Shinken, who passed away a few years ago, he was quite accomplished intellectual, Buddhist intellectual. But anyway, so he would work for 1 or 2 weeks and prepare some paper, and the teacher would read it for maybe 1 day or so, and then get back to him and say, well, you're just copying ideas. There's nothing here important. Just throw it in the garbage. Do some meditation. Okay. So he would just some time dedicate to meditation. And then sometime after 2 or 3 weeks or so, he would come into the room, look at him sitting silent, and say, "What are you doing like that, like a frog? Do prostrations." So like that, on and on. He would tell him, "Okay, you can stay in this room." And then, after some time, "Who told you to stay in this room? Go stay somewhere else." Anyway, you must have heard some of these stories, okay, I guess, through some Buddhist readings. There was another teacher which asked his students, okay, build a hut, kind of small house, small cabin. And the student would diligently do it for 3, 4 months or so. And then once it was finished, the teacher said, okay, now take it down. Master says, I trust. Take it down. And then when he had done that, he would say, build it again. Take it down. Build it again. 3 or 4 times. Again, make your own conclusions. We are here in the West trying to deal with our strong, selfish drives. How are we going to do it? Teachers tried many things. Actually, life itself is quite a teacher. These days, we can say that teachers like the ones I just mentioned, have a crazy ways. Life has crazy ways. yesterday, moms after the retreat were speaking, saying how difficult sometimes things get at home. I remember one of our priests many years ago, Samusun, said that when she was very young and married, she had twins. And then the year after, she also got pregnant. And she had twins again. So she was so, and she had such a wonderful humor. And then she made this comment that at some moment, of course, very grateful for for life, which was filled up with this wonderful four. But she said, well, life is not a vase of roses. It's a pail of shit. So anyway, this is a lifetime endeavor. Is that what you pronounce? Endeavor? Endeavor. Once I read this, I know very well it in Spanish, but let's see how it comes in English. It's to dedicate long years to some activity, wholeheartedly, accepting the hardships that come with it, the loneliness sometimes, the doubts. If you endure, it will bring you, after years, with great benefits. So it is the same with the apparently foolish practice of Zen. And I just want to end with this. The farm in New York was mentioned. There is this project of planting chestnut trees. And Sanha, the director of the farm, was telling us that it will take 60 years until we start seeing some fruit. So let's trust in life, what we have right now, which is a lot. Well, it is a lot. Try to be fully present and bring your practice. And be selfless this very moment. Thank you.
Samusun has been leaving us with a lot. Do you have a question?
Okay, let's probably I overdid it. So let's few moments try to stay and see what resonates. Stay with a couple of things from that from those words and try to take them with you. Yes.
I'm not sure what the direction was. I think it was what came up after your talk. Both the examples of build a hut, take down the hut, build the hut, and the one that says go sit in your room, and then who told you to sit in your room? That's sort of what life, I feel like that resonates about life, because we think, oh, we have the answer, and then the answer doesn't work anymore, so we have to find another answer. And so I think that that teaching just is that jolt to say you gotta, it's not a place to rest. The answer is not a place to rest. It's just waiting for the next dump from the pail. Right?
Thank you.
Can you repeat her comment?
Yeah. The whole thing?
Well, just so that those people who are watching us
Oh, yeah.
can know.
Okay. Or actually, maybe people can, so I don't, maybe you can. More direct.
I'm sorry, I am seeing this and
Oh, okay.
can I walk on here? with
Yeah,
my
yeah.
shoes
Or
on?
just in front.
I just wanted to comment that the teachers that he spoke about gave such contrary advice. They, build the hut. Take down that hut. Well, build that hut again. Take it down. Or the other thing was stay in your room for a while. And then who told you to stay in that room? It's like, anyway, so I felt like that's what our lives are about. We think we have an answer to something and then generalize it to, okay, I got this. And then it doesn't work anymore. And so I think that those teachings kind of prepare us for what I said was we think we have the answer to life until that pail tips over and dumps on us again. And then we have to start over again.
Okay. Yeah.
Dawn Sunam.
It is
Come again.
You're on the hot seat if you ask a question. Doan Sunam, can you tell us your story? That is, how did you become interested in Zen? And how did you first meet Samusun?
I would, I would just copy as Sunim used to say. To make the long story short, it just happened. Saying that's such a weak. So, no, well, it would be a long story to and nothing special, I would say. Mm, well, I can come up with a couple of incidents. Once I had this kind of, or inherited, my father had bought us, my brother and I, this old car, this Opel, very old, but it was working fine. And once I went to a bookstore and left the key attached to the trunk of the car. While I was driving, a lot of things were in my head, really. This, that, and thinking, and trying to solve problems in my head, this, while driving to the bookstore. So I parked, took something from the trunk, and left the keys attached to the trunk. So when I returned, actually, the last time that I saw the car was after looking for it for a couple of weeks and seeing it in a kind of outsides of the city, sitting on top of the 4 bricks. That was the last time I saw the car. So I said, I have to do something with this. I have to learn some concentration, and didn't know anything about Zen. So anyway, I will just jump when I met Sunim. And actually, it's good to mention this. I was eager. I have been doing some meditation for 4 months, and then met Sunim. He was giving a retreat for the first time for the second time in 1984 in Mexico. And so just the sharing of the retreat, the presence of Sunim, the preparations actually for the retreat and sharing. Then I got to read Spring Wind, which Doyun, one member of our temple, had been in this place in Ann Arbor some months before. And reading, and then when they came, they brought also 2 or 3 volumes of Spring Wind, which was published those years. And not only Sunim came, but some of them drove, about 5 members residents drove the van all the way to Mexico. So it was by sharing the retreat and getting to know directly these people and reading from Spring Wind, and they said, well, these are sincere people, good people. And the teacher has integrity. And so I said, well, I'll try 3 months. And stayed 8 years and a half. And, well, our teacher is in the farm now. He was in Mexico for almost 5 months. And even though his condition, Parkinson, has diminished him from functioning. But even now, I these past months, moments which I cherish and feel that keep learning. If I stay 30, what, I don't know, 36, 37 years, is because I was inspired by this teacher and these people.
Good enough. So before we have our announcements, and then a little bit of social time for those who'd like to mingle outside of the canopy on the grounds, I'd like to make a little presentation, since we haven't had an assembly for a long time, since we usually do presentations when a lot of Sangha members gather. So last year, when there was a retreat in Mexico, two of our Mexican Sangha members, who were Dharma teachers, were made priests. So it means that we have two more priests in our organization. And usually when that happens, we would give a small gift in appreciation from the folks way up north. So better late than never. I like to give gifts for Bobkung, who is here and is one of our temple, Mexican temple priests, and for No Rim, who is in Mexico and a new priest in the organization. Just in appreciation of your commitment, their commitment and dedication. Thank you. So it's just a very special time that we're reopening, and then we can do these special presentations. And so we have one more. So it is the same gift because, well, I'll tell you in a minute. So
Tell him to the microphone.
our own Jagwa, who has just become a Dharma teacher in a ceremony in Chicago a couple of weeks ago, or maybe it was just last week. Hard to tell. It's become timeless these days. She's who we just heard sing. I'd like to give the same gift to our new Dharma teacher on behalf of all of us in Ann Arbor, but she's a Dharma teacher for the whole organization, all of our temples, just as these two that are here are for our whole organization. And next week, here at this service, Jagwa will be giving the talk. So I hope you'll come back. Well, whoever is giving the talk, please come back. So let's congratulate Jagwa. And it was her 40th birthday a couple of days ago. So we get to sing, okay? Her names, for those of you who are just learning all these Buddhist names, is Jagwa, Jagwa, Jagwa. Yeah. What does it mean?
My fault, my misdeed, question mark, exclamation point.
Good name, especially after we heard all those stories from Samusun. So let's sing happy birthday to Jogwa.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Jawa. Happy birthday to you. And many more.
Can you sing it in Spanish, please?
I know this, my kids.
El rey David a las muchachas bonitas se las cantamos así. Despierta, Yawa, despierta. That means wake up, Yawa. Pajarillos cantan, la luna ya se metió.
Oh, wow, that's beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you for being here. And so announcements before we leave. That this service, this is the very first one, and I would like to thank all the people who have been preparing for many months. First, taking a long, long time to put up this canopy about 2 months ago, right, Pacho?
Maybe.
Thank you for being the lead person on helping with that. And if you notice, at each corner, there's a huge kind of tub with cement in it, because one of our canopies in the past flew away with the wind. So we were determined not to let this one go in the same direction. And Pacho and Jajak, who were kind of on our opening committee, by hand made the cement and filled those. It was the most fun they'd had in a long time. Also, I like to thank Spencer right here and Sogan right here for helping us with the tech part of this, so that hopefully some people who are at home, maybe even as far as Denver and different parts of the country, because we've been having those kind of folks watch us, so that they could also experience the service today. And hopefully, as we keep going on, we'll try to have this service each Sunday until the fall, when we'll hope to change back into our Buddha hall. So we'll be here. And what else?
Cookies.
And meet and greets.
Cookies.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so we are going to finish with the 4 great vows and a little bit of chanting. And then we invite you to go to the back porch area, just overlooking the pond. Actually, you can see, I think, white things on the table with some lovely cookies and desserts. You're most welcome to help yourself and take along something for someone home too. And have a chance outside of the canopy area, it's safer in the open air, to chat a little bit with people that you might not have seen, and introduce yourself to those who look like they're new kids on the block today. I know Randy and Anne and their whole family kind of came together, and they're all new. So it's wonderful. Special welcome to you folks. Yeah. So that's the cookie part. And the other part is that we are going to, Doan and I just would like to greet each of you personally. So we'll be around in some place, and hopefully before you go, you can come. Maybe we'll get our pictures taken together, and we'll just have a chance to greet Doan Sunam on his first time back, and we hope that it won't be the last time. Something more regular. Yeah, we'll look forward to that. And of course, we're always welcome at the Mexican temple. Yeah. Okay, so Let's do the 4 great vows. Yeah, stand up. Okay. All beings, one body.
All beings, one body.
I vow to liberate.
I vow to liberate.
Blind passions, one root.
Blind passions, one root.
I vow to penetrate.
Terminate.
No, I got it wrong. Always get them wrong. Blind passions, one root. I vow to terminate.
Blind passions, one root. I vow to terminate.
Dharma gates, one mind.
Dharma gates, one mind.
I vow to penetrate.
I vow to penetrate.
The great way of Buddha.
The great way of Buddha.
I vow to realize.
I vow to realize.
And I forgot to just make special mention that one of our families for over many, many years, all of them are here today, the Lesperance Samusun, Nojak, Teresa with a broken leg, Gus, and Lily. It's so good to see you all coming from Royal Oak. Thank you. And Jung Kwang